would move on to our next speaker. Obviously, Mr. Saquib Ahmad, Country Manager SAP Pakistan, does not need any introduction. I have had the opportunity to hear him multiple times. He is with here. So without wasting any of his and your time, over to you, Saqib Saab. Saqib Saab, you're on mute. I'm sorry, you're on mute.
Sure. Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me loud and clear now. So thank you very much, first of all, for inviting me for this event. I think this is a very crucial event and very crucial moment, both in terms of if we start talking about the current status of the work that we are working at this very point of time. So if you can also see my slides. It's also visible. Just
Yeah.
to, oh, okay, good. So I think let me talk about a little bit where we stand today over in terms of the cyber security that we talk about. And I think it's important to understand that how and where in our professional and personal situations that where this, especially the cyber security topic goes and helps us in a different modes there. And let me be very clear on that front as well. I feel that it's very important for us to see that in our day-to-day business, how we are able to help and how we are able to transform the AI into the cloud security flow. Let me be very clear and let me be very focused on the approach that we take today. It's all about data. That is usually our problem. Either it is our mobile phone, either it's our laptop, either it's our personal data, either it's our professional data. This is where we lie and where the problem lies whenever we talk about cybersecurity. 75% of organizations say they are ready for cyber attack. They say this. Despite that one, 600% increase of the attacks since the start of the global pandemic. You must be hearing and must be talking about since morning about the latest attack in America that happens on the gas side as well. You know that in K Electric in Pakistan, they got attacked as well. So overall, if I start talking about as we are moving towards digital, as we are moving towards in that direction of IT and digital transformation, similarly, the attacks and cybersecurity is becoming much bigger issue overall. 1 trillion cost of cyber crimes on the increase. Imagine the opportunity for the hackers. Imagine the kind of business that we are putting on the table that is available and can be attacked at all possible times. And we are not talking about only the attack on the organizations up front. Think about it. When you use your credit card to the hotel has their own database. The credit card company has their own database. The booking.com has their own database. And you are providing all these informations as an individual at all these different places. And all these places are open for attacks by the hackers out over there. And cybersecurity with times becomes much more bigger issue. Now, the important part is, why should you care about this one? And let's be very honest, imagine the dramatic increase in the value of the data today. $2.8 trillion that we are talking about, GDP growth from the online data. Imagine how much data is now moving online, the transfer of money that is happening. And to be honest, there is an increasing vulnerability on the endpoints. Overall, 21 billion new devices now right now connected in 2020. And other portals, connecting points where the data can be attacked. The exponential volume of data we are talking about, imagine 520K overall of data storage capacity by 2020. That is what we are talking today. And greater proliferation of the attackers. 65% of the companies surveyed experienced more advanced threats that they were ready for. That's what the day today, that's what the business is facing today. That is what the companies have to be ready. On the one side, they are going for the digital IT transformation and running their systems and going more dynamic. On the other side, they are becoming more vulnerable to the data that we talk about. And there are different reasons of that one. Let me very say, everything that is connected to the interaction can be hacked. That is the law number one. This is what the reality is. The law number two is everything is being connected on the internet. Everything is connected to each other. That's how this world works today. And law three, everything else follows from the first two laws. That's where we are heading to. That's the connectivity of all things today. Just representing SAP on that front, all these different companies that you see the logos today, they have their own GRC and cyber solutions. There is a separate departments that are working for the cyber security in these organizations. They are working specifically to save their business, save their employees, and save their data from all kind of hackers. And the world is not small. We are not talking about if the companies in Pakistan, they are being attacked only from the ecosystem of Pakistan. They have been attacked from the Russian hackers. They have been attacked from somebody sitting in Philippines out over there. We don't know where this cyber attacks is coming from and how and where we need to protect. That's exactly the reason that the company is much more focused on how the cybersecurity issues need to be tackled. Let's come a little bit on the little bit of our geopolitical situation as well. You know that majority of the armies of the world, they are also taking sure that their data needs to be secure. And just think about it, where we are talking about a money to be a data for available for the hackers for the sake of money. Here we are talking about lives of people. We are talking about geopolitical wars. And right now, it's almost 170 customers for SAP in overall in America, 17 in Middle East, 15. And I'm talking about armies. I'm talking about defense. 19 of the 28 countries of the NATO, they are running exactly on the SAP cybersecurity solutions just to make sure that they are being managed and safe all across. United Nations, multinational forces, they all are using cybersecurity related solutions just to safeguard themselves and their customers, which are the different companies. Systems are under attack today, and they will remain under attack. And that is one thing that will always be there. And now, how we have to counter them over here. Now, that's something important, because apart from the cybersecurity solution, it's very important to understand the compliance protocols that the world is moving towards today. We are clearly talking about cybersecurity and threat detection. We are talking about access management and data protection. And the most importantly, we have to take care of the governance, the global risk monitoring. These are clear the parameters that we know and go about the compliance. It's not about that if a certain system is hacked and then we need to make sure and make protection about that one. I think we need to first define the ground rules. We need to define the ecosystem. And these ecosystem and these ground rules has to be universal all across the world just to make sure that all what we are talking about cybersecurity today has to be connected, because our systems are connected to different parts of the world, to the system across borders. There are no borders anymore, actually, to be very precise on that front. Today, our system, the mail, the Gmail that you connect today, that has been connected to the server in America. The WhatsApp that you're using today, you don't know where the data is stored for that WhatsApp message that you are sending out over there. Our system are connected to so many multiple devices. So it's very important that the cybersecurity and compliance across all these people should be equivalent. And that is the key over here. When we talk about NIST framework, especially in the cybersecurity programs, identify, protect, detect, respond, and recover. That's the mantra to go about. We need to be very clear about identifying where it can come, what are the asset management, what are the governance, what are the risk management tools, strategies, how the supply chain needs to be managed. This is the identification where this threat can come from. When we talk about protection, we have to be very clear on the access controls, awareness, data securities, informations. We need to be very focused around how we have to protect our systems. And then we have to further smart enough to see what are the anomalies that can coming and are coming, and we need to predict out over there that it can result in some kind of attack over there. The continuous security monitoring, that is the key. And then when it has happened, the response, the respond, how we are going to do that one, how the communication will work, how the mitigation will happen, how we are going to connect and make sure that data can be protected even in the case of a hack over there, and how we have to respond to these people once this data is hacked on that front, and how we can protect during the course of that action as well. All this is a science today. In the cybersecurity, all these things connected today. It's not about protection of the data only. It's about detection, protection, identification, respond, and then recovering the data. That's how the world is going in that direction, and that is the complete framework that is required for overall managing the cybersecurity. Let's talk about a little bit of enterprise threat detection. Now, this is something important. I think in the session before, there was also talking about forensic analysis, threat hunting, the anomaly detection, all these things across different networks, whichever industry that you are today, they all are provided on that one. We talk about public sector, we talk about private sector, we talk about manufacturing, we talk about DISCOs, ISCOs, all they have to be followed with the same framework that we are talking today. Continuous automated detection, analyze, neutralization of cyber attacks in real time. We need to be ready for these ones, and we have the solutions to do that one as well. I think we need to understand that when we are doing for a digital transformation today, this cybersecurity is part of that digital transformation. It cannot be taken as a subject that will come later on and that we have to manage later on as well. Today, when we are planning and expanding our businesses, our networks, as we are going to the next level of digital transformations, it's very important to plan the cybersecurity from the very start, because the moment you are taking care of the customer data, you are responsible of that data on all possible ways, which is professionally, ethically, and by all means, as an organization, we all are responsible for the data. And this enterprise threat detection is the key, how we have to analyze and make sure we are covering those angles as well. We have to protect our crown jewels. There is no way out of that one. The access of sensitive information should only be accessible to the key people. We cannot give the access to all possible people. We have to define hierarchies, we have to define the organization structures, and we need to make sure that only the responsible people get the access to the data. Otherwise, this hack becomes much more easy and possible. The critical system and configuration and changes which are required now on every quarterly basis. All the big companies, they provide these update and upgrades, especially on the security front. Anywhere in the world, they feel a breach of data, they send their upgrade and updates all across their customers all across the world. Take a small example of your iPhone or your Samsung phone. You are keep getting small updates of your applications on every weekly or bi-weekly basis. What is these? These are actually the security updates, because somewhere in the world, somebody has hacked something. And in order to safeguard yourself, the company has given these update and upgrade so that you can be safeguarded in case this happens to you. These are the critical system and configuration changes which are happening on the big digital transform platform as well. And we need to make sure that we cover it from that angles. User management, privilege users management, critical system communication, how you're going to communicate in the case of a hack, how the information flow and detection and then further response should be managed. This is another science out over here. We are always talking about how we have to avoid a certain cyber attack. But then once a cyber attack happens, then during the course of that cyber attack, how we have to manage the situation is another science, is another art. And this requires technical abilities. This also requires system and change management abilities as well. And that's how we are going to manage this specific thing as well. User login management, we all understand, are the key on that front. What are our challenges over here? What are our solutions over here? And what is the benefit that we can get over there? We have to be smart. We have to be smart on our day-to-day work. Just give an example of our daily lives. You know, if there is a car standing over our home for too long, for 2-3 hours, we alarm and we go inside and we talk to our parents or we talk to our brother and sister, hey, why this car is standing over there? Why there are 2 people sitting over there? This is not a normal situation. Things don't happen on a day-to-day work like this. This is exactly what we have to do in our digital world as well. We have to check for our irregularities. We have to see that if there are incidents that need to be reported on a very regular basis. What are the regulatory requirements? What are the specifically updated upgrades that we have to be there? Then we have to go for the solutions, and these solutions that we are talking about are going to continuously update and upgrade themselves. Don't ever think that you have done a certain upgrade and your system is safe, because somewhere in the world, some hacker is working on this to make sure that they are able to hack your system. And this is a continuous evolving process. And it's important for us to understand that we have to be ready all the time with all the audit, with all the logs, with all the forensic investigations to be ready for our solutions, because this is a thing that will continue now for long. The wars are not led anymore in the artillery type of swords out there. The wars are now cybercrime wars. These are the wars that we have to find the solution, and we have to safeguard our operations and the threat predictions that we are talking about. Our financial losses needs to be very managed. We all know that how Bitcoin, what is happening with the Bitcoin today. We all understand that Bitcoin or the other crypto currencies were the ones that were being taken about sort of hackers for the transfer of financial information along with the financial numbers as well. And we need to be ready for that one, how we are able to curb all these things as well. I think just coming to the end of this presentation, I will say, sitting in Pakistan, we are much more vulnerable. We need to be very clear on that front, how we are going to manage this specific thing, how we are going to work out, and specifically, let me say in a clear words, that our systems, they have to be coming up from the global companies. We have to get these upgraded updates on a very regular basis. We need to make sure how we manage our system and cybersecurity portions becomes part of the digital transformation journey from the very start. It's very important for us. It's very important to plan these things. We need to have our very plans as well, that in case such an activity happens, how we are going to manage ourselves, and in the first place should not happen. Cybersecurity departments are must in organizations today. This is something that is required from the very first day to make sure for safeguarding the system, the safeguarding the individuals, and safeguarding the country as well. It's not about individual, it's not about private companies, it's Pakistan at the end of the day where we need to safeguard from all possible hackers that are around over here. So thank you very much for that, and thank you very much SCAPTalk for providing me this opportunity. And if there are any questions, I am available. Back to you, Ayaz.